So let's be honest. When we experience failure in life, failing sucks. I mean, it's difficult, whether it is a job that you went for an interview and you didn't get the job, whether it's a relationship that just ended and you've got no idea, whether it's a business that you just ventured into, put in all your effort and all your money and that business flopped. Or maybe even just the general feeling that life has just given you a punch and it hurts. I mean, it feels very difficult. Sometimes it's even very shameful. Like, it feels shameful to fail when you feel like life is not moving at the pace you'd maybe normally love it to move at. And in that moment, when you are on the floor, the absolute last thing you want to hear is some maybe toxic positivity where people are telling you stuffs like, everything is going to be all right. Everything happens for a reason. Just smile, keep pushing through. So today, we are not going to be doing all of that. Today, as much as we are focusing on positivity, we want to dive in a little bit deeper on what it truly means to be resilient. Okay, when faced with uncertainty, what does it really mean to be resilient? So here we are. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, by the way, is EY Trudy, and my name is Eya. I'm your host and your guide to the journey of a holistic life mastery. Okay, here at EY Trudy, we deliver actionable strategies and unfiltered insights across the 4 essential pillars of life, which cuts across like mindset, money, wellness, and the world around you. All of those areas put together will give you like a successful life at the end. And today we are tackling the single most important skill that you would need in a modern life, which is resilience, the act of being resilient. We're going to talk about it, okay? So we're going to talk about what it actually means, okay? Not just being tough. What does it really mean to be resilient? I know that why some people seem to have more of it than others, and most importantly, I'm going to give you a practical 3-step toolkit to build your own resilience muscle, okay? And so the next time when life knocks you down, you don't just bounce back, you bounce forward, okay? So that's by the way. Let's dive in. I'm just doing this video from we just dropped our baby off at the nursery just now, so we're just also waiting for her to just finish, and then we can pick her and go home. So now let's talk about the willow and the oak tree. What is resilience? What is resilience? When you hear the word resilience, what does it mean to you? What does resilience mean to you? I mean, a lot of people get resilience a little bit wrong. I mean, the definition. They maybe think that resilience means being unshakable, showing no emotions. They think it means like being like a mighty oak tree that stands very tall in a hurricane, rigid, standing firm and showing no emotions. But here is the problem with the oak tree, or that approach. If the wind blows hard enough and the tree is too rigid, it will snap. True resilience isn't about hardness. It is about flexibility. It is showing flexibility in the face of uncertainty. So take a moment to think about when you showed flexibility in the face of uncertainty. That is you being very resilient. Okay? And now, think about the bamboo tree, okay? Think about, instead of the oak tree, now think about the bamboo tree. When the storm hits, bamboo trees bend almost to the ground. That is like acknowledging the force of the wind. It feels the pressure. But because it bends, it doesn't break. And when the storm passes, it just snaps right back up. and that is resilience. Okay, so resilience is the ability to experience a negative emotion of a setback without letting them define your entire existence. It is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Okay, and it is not about denying the pain or maybe living in denial. It is actually about processing the pain so that it doesn't become like a permanent paralysis that you have to always deal with. So let's start with the mindset shift just now. Say, for example, when you experience a negative incident in your life, do you play the victim card or you play the student card? I mean, this choice is yours. You can ask, why me? Or you can ask, what now? Yes, it's happened. What now? What do we do? Or you keep asking, why me? Before we get into the practical steps, we have to even address the foundation, which is now your mindset. When you are hit with a setback, normally our default psychological setting is usually the victim frame. It sounds like, why does it always have to happen to me? Why me? Why me? Oh, this is not fair. This is not fair. It's why me? Oh, I'm so unlucky. I'm so unlucky. This is not fair. Now, listen. These feelings are valid. You are allowed to feel them, but you cannot live there. Living in the victim frame gives away your power to the situation. So to master resilience, you would have to somehow have a shift in your mindset, even if it feels like forced at the first, into the student frame. You want to focus on the lessons that you have learned from that experience. So now, the student frame asks different questions. Instead of the why me question, it asks you something like, you ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this situation? What is the very next constructive step I can take, no matter how small, to move forward from this situation? I mean, how can I use this failure as a data for my next attempt? So when you shift your mindset from why me to what now, you move from being like a passive victim of the circumstance to an active participant in your own recovery. So now, we all experience setbacks in life. There is no life without at least an experience of setback. So I'm going to share with you 3 steps that can help you to bounce back just now. My own steps, because I do consider myself a very resilient person as well. So, it's just like my own tried blueprint. So, okay, the theory is great, but how do we actually apply this when we are in the trenches ourselves? So here is my own 3 toolkit that you can use the next time that you face a major setback in your life. So the number 1, establish a venting window. Please cry all the cry. Cry the cry, because the biggest mistake that people make is trying to skip the emotional processing phase. They try to jump straight into problem solving while they are still being emotionally flooded. So what I would say is this: you will need to feel your feelings so that they don't rot inside of you. But you would also need boundaries. As you are wailing, as you are crying, as you are acknowledging how you feel, give yourself some specific amount of time. maybe say 24 hours, maybe even if it's just the weekend, to wallow, to cry, eat the ice cream, watch a movie that maybe makes you even cry, okay? Vent to your best friends, feel sorry for yourself. Take time to do the wallowing and processing and crying. But just when that window closes, you have to make a pact with yourself, because that wallowing has to stop and the strategizing then begins. You have now honored your emotions. Now you have to now honor your future and then have a way to come out from that setback. So that would now lead us to our number 2 one, is to reframe the narrative. Now, how do you reframe the narrative? Human beings are like storytelling machine. We make sense of our life by storytelling, okay, by the stories we tell ourselves about what have happened, or even by the stories we tell others about what has happened. So if you get the fire, the immediate story is always often, I'm incompetent, I would never succeed, I don't pass my interviews. That story destroys resilience. Come close. You need to actively edit the story you tell yourself about what happened. You don't have to lie to yourself, but you have to find an alternative perspective that serves you better. Maybe you can change your story. Maybe the story becomes, this job wasn't the right fit for me. And now that I've been forced out through redundancy, this is the exit I needed to find clarity and to launch myself into my next career actually. So you just have to find one single piece of evidence that this setback might actually be an opportunity in disguise. Because of course, with every setback, it's actually an opportunity. Even if what you found is just like 10%, hold on to it and keep focusing on that. So, the next one I would say is the micro-win strategy. And what this means is that when you have a big setback in your life, your confidence is always shattered as well. The idea of tackling a huge new goal feels a bit impossible at that time. So this is where resilience comes in. Resilience is built through momentum. You need to regain your sense of urgency. That feeling that your actions also matter. So now, stop looking for stop looking for a big thing to execute. Just look at the base one. Just little things. One tiny thing, almost ridiculous thing you can achieve today. So, is it like making your bed when you wake up in the morning? Is it like maybe saying a wee prayer every morning? Is it like having your meditation section? Is it like sending that one email? Is it like maybe even sending out one application once a day? Is it like going through like a 10 minutes walk to think about things? Just set very small tiny goal and do that one tiny thing. Then acknowledge that you have now done it, and this micro wins begins to rebuild the trust that you have in yourself. They prove to you and your brain that you can still take action even when things are hard. Okay? So now, I will tell you a little bit of story at the end of this video about resilience, because for me, it's a first-hand experience as well. So before we go, there is one final ingredient to resilience, and this is what I would describe as the secret sauce, and it is self-compassion. My mom will always call me and say something like, "Waneka, meru wege bere," which simply translates to, "Waneka, show yourself mercy." So you cannot bully yourself into being resilient. You cannot hate yourself into a better life. Say, for example, if your best friend came to you and they are feeling crushed by their failure, would you tell them they are a loser who should just give up? Of course not. I'm sure you would offer them some kindness and some support and some encouraging word. So why do you refuse to offer yourself some kindness when you are facing a setback? So, self-compassion, self-love, showing yourself kindness in the face of it is very important. So, mastering resilience is not about just never falling down. It is about shortening the time that it takes us to come back up and treating ourselves with grace while we do it. I mean, setbacks are inevitable. Staying defeated is optional. Okay? So, if you are currently going through a tough time, you can share that with us in our comment section, and you can even share with us how you intend to come out of this, maybe some of your micro wins that you've set for yourself, and how you're going to commit to it today. I mean, we can support each other down there, and then watch as we all come out from our day-to-day life setbacks as well. So now, a personal experience about how I have now practiced resilience as well. When my mom would normally come and tell me, "Waneka, show yourself some mercy," those are my wailing phases. Maybe if a relationship ended and I'm just in the room crying away. I keep bending like the bamboo tree. But then, when my mom says, "Show yourself mercy," it becomes like a yardstick for me to start healing. So, what then will I do? I'll start now to give myself like a timeline. I should not be doing this by next week. After next week, I've acknowledged what happened, and I should be moving on from that. So, what I'll say to yourself is this: just like the bamboo tree, always show resilience. Always show flexibility in the face of uncertainty.